What if I told you that just $300 could control $18,000 worth of Apple stock? That isn't a hypothetical. Welcome back to The Explainer. You already know what options are and you know how the market mechanics work from our last sessions. But let's be honest. It's time to answer the exact question everyone really wants answered. We are moving from textbook theory to looking at how real money actually moves on a trading screen. That $300 number is the practical reality of options. Today, we're going to see exactly how that money gets made and how it gets lost. But before we dive into the exact math of a real trade, we need to draw a hard line right down the center of the trading floor.
Because there are fundamentally just two sides to an options trade, and they make money in completely opposite ways. Look at this contrast. As a buyer, you're paying a premium up front. You want drama. You need the market to make a big, fast move in your direction before time runs out. But on the other side, the seller. If you are selling an option, your absolute best friend is time. You want the market to stay perfectly still, move slowly, or even drift the opposite direction. You just want to quietly keep the premium you collected.
All right, let's actually look at making money as a buyer first. Imagine I'm showing you my trading screen right now. We're looking at a long call on Apple. The strike is $185, it expires in 30 days, and the premium is $300. Since one contract controls 100 shares, your total cost to enter this trade is exactly $300. Now let's walk through the numbers out loud. Scenario 1. Apple rockets to $210. Your option is now deep in the money. You sell to close, and that option is worth around $25. That's a profit of $22 per share. Think about that. Your $300 investment, it just turned into $2,200. Scenario 2. Apple only rises to $193. You're still doing great. You sell to close, the option is worth about $8, and you walk away with a $500 profit. But what if Apple just sits there at $180? The option expires out of the money, it's completely worthless, and you lose your full $300 premium.
Now here is where it gets really interesting. Let's say Apple crashes all the way down to $165. It is incredibly deep out of the money. The key insight you need to grasp here is that whether Apple drops $1 or plummets $50, your loss is exactly the same. It is capped at the $300 premium you paid. That is the true beauty of buying options. Your downside is always hard capped, but your upside scales with how far the stock runs.
Before we flip to the other side of the market, let's quickly define the break-even point. This is simply the stock price where you neither make nor lose money at expiration. For that long call we just looked at, it's your $185 strike plus the $3 premium paid. So the stock must be above $188 at expiration for you to see any real profit. But here is a massive secret. Most of the time, you aren't actually waiting for expiration. Closing a trade early changes the whole dynamic. You can sell to close when you hit a profit target to lock in those gains, or you can close it to recover whatever value is left and cut your losses. Let's look at the put side to see this in action again. We're looking at a long put on Tesla. Strike is $245, 21 days out, and a $5 premium. So you spend $500 to get in. If Tesla tanks and drops to $200, that option is deep in the money. It's now worth about $45. You sell to close, making $40 per share. Boom, your $500 just turned into a massive $4,000 profit. But if Tesla just stays flat at $250, the option expires out of the money, you lose your $500, but crucially, not a single penny more.
All right, let's flip the table. What does it actually look like to be the seller? I want you to think of this like being the insurance company instead of the person buying the policy. An insurance company collects small premiums from thousands of different customers. They know the vast majority of those customers will never file a claim, and the company profits from that difference. Option sellers operate on this exact same principle. Between 70 to 80% of options held to expiration expire completely worthless. The seller just gets to keep that entire premium.
Let's break down a classic seller trade, the covered call. Let's say you already own 100 shares of Apple. You sell the 190 call for 30 days out, and you collect a $2.50 premium. You literally just put $250 in your pocket right then and there. If Apple stays below 190, the call expires worthless. You keep the $250 and you keep your shares. It acts almost like a monthly dividend you create for yourself. If Apple drops to 165, yeah, your shares lose value, but that $250 you collected actually softens the blow. The trade-off? If Apple rockets to 195, your shares get called away at 190. You keep the $250 premium, and the stock gain up to 190, but you miss out on that extra upside.
And this brilliantly illustrates the other side of selling, the cash-secured put. Imagine you actually want to own Apple stock. You sell the $170 put and collect $200 right now. If Apple stays above 170, the put expires worthless. You keep the $200 in your cash. You literally just got paid to wait. But if Apple drops to $168, the put is in the money. You are forced to buy 100 shares at 170. But remember, you collected $200 up front, so your net cost is effectively $168 a share. You just bought a stock you wanted anyway at a direct discount. It is a total win-win. Frame it.
So the crucial point is understanding exactly how sellers make this money. It is all about time decay, or theta. Think of an option like a carton of milk with an expiration date stamped on it. Every single day that passes, that milk is worth a little less, even if nothing bad happened to it. As the seller, you are the grocery store that already got paid for the milk up front. As the buyer, you're racing to use it before it spoils. That is exactly why professional sellers often enter trades around 45 days to expiration and follow a strict disciplined rule. They buy to close the trade as soon as they hit 50% of their max profit, locking it in and taking the money before a sudden market reversal can ruin their day.
Now, before we wrap, we have to talk about how beginners absolutely blow up their accounts so you don't make the same mistakes. First, holding long options to expiration is a massive trap. Most of the time, the right move is exiting early to lock in gains or cut losses before time decay ruins the trade. Second, selling naked options. Selling a call without actually owning the underlying stock exposes you to literally unlimited loss. A tiny $200 premium collected could turn into a $5,000 nightmare overnight if the stock spikes. Always use covered strategies. And finally, sizing your positions way too large. Losing 100% of a premium as a buyer is a very normal outcome in this game, so you should never ever risk more than 2 to 5% of your account on a single options trade.
All right, we've seen exactly how money is made and lost on both sides of the screen. You've seen the raw math of $300 turning into $2,000, or disappearing entirely to zero. But here is the lingering question. When you look at that $3 premium, what exactly determined that price in the first place? How do you know if an option is an incredible bargain or dangerously overpriced? Well, that is the missing puzzle piece we are going to crack open in our next explainer, Understanding the Premium. I'll see you there.